This Russian tank crew didn't expect a drone to strike them. They dragged their wounded comrade beneath the tank, thinking they are safe, but the Ukrainian drone operators know how to destroy a Russian tank and eliminate the enemy forces. They deploy 2 kamikaze drones in quick succession. The first strikes its target, neutralizing the enemy, and the second hits shortly after, triggering a massive explosion that completely destroys the Russian tank. As you can see, the force of the explosion was so powerful that it completely tore the turret away from the main body of the tank, separating it from the hull. The next target for Ukrainian forces was this Russian APC. The first drone strike weakened its armor, leaving the vehicle exposed and vulnerable to a second, decisive strike. Once again, a Russian vehicle was completely destroyed, adding to the growing losses and further weakening their operational capabilities on the battlefield. In August 2025, in the village of Novoye Shakhovoy, Donetsk Oblast, a Ukrainian T-64 BV tank fired directly at a building with its 125mm gun, targeting 7 Russian assault troops who were hiding inside the building. The tank fired multiple rounds at the building, and the Russian soldiers were eliminated by the impact or buried as the structure collapsed. After the tank had completed the operation successfully, the Ukrainian tank quickly retreated from the area, moving to a secure position to avoid counterfire. In February 2025, in Yasno village, Donetsk region, a Ukrainian Leopard 1A5 tank destroyed a building occupied by Russian forces with a direct hit from its 105mm gun. As in the previous case, the Ukrainian tank fired multiple rounds at the building, destroying it completely and ensuring that the Russian occupants could not survive the blast. This is a primary reason why buildings are completely destroyed, minimizing any chance for enemy survival and eliminating potential threats from remaining structures. After the mission, the tank turned and withdrew from the area as quickly as possible. At the same time, Russian forces fired artillery at the retreating Leopard tank, but their fire was poorly coordinated, allowing the tank to return safely to the Ukrainian position, completing the operation successfully. In the same area, a National Guard T-72B advanced toward an enemy position in a clearing and opened fire. The tank was in a very difficult position. The crew fired repeated rounds while maneuvering to make targeting more difficult. The Ukrainian tank maintained sustained fire on Russian positions, preventing the use of anti-tank missiles and forcing the Russian troops to remain in the trench under cover, limiting their ability to respond or reposition. The Ukrainian tank destroyed the enemy positions and remained undamaged, supported by continuous fire and rapid maneuvering. The Leopard 1A5 is a German-made main battle tank used by Ukrainian forces. Although it was designed during the Cold War and upgraded in the 1980s, its 105mm cannon, modern fire control system, and high mobility still make a formidable tank on the battlefield. In July 2025, in the villages of Tovst and Pidobny, Donetsk region, 2 Leopard 1A5 tanks of the armed forces of Ukraine fired directly at buildings occupied by Russian infantry. While the Leopard tank fired on Russian positions, the enemy launched an artillery attack against it. The tank withdrew after a few shots, but despite multiple strikes and efforts to destroy it, the artillery failed to cause any damage. The explosions created dust and debris that concealed the tank, making it more difficult to detect and allowing it to fire several additional rounds before returning safely to Ukrainian positions. On the opposite side of the village, another Leopard tank engaged Russian positions in the buildings. At this point, Russian artillery was unable to reach the Ukrainian tank, allowing it to destroy the troops inside the buildings without concern for incoming fire. Another successful operation for Ukrainian forces. In July 2025, near the village of Novopokrovka in the Zaporizhia region, a Russian IFV and a tank struck mines during an attempted mechanized assault. A reconnaissance drone monitored the area and captured the explosions. It was reported that the enemy lost a total of 3 IFs, 4 buggies, and 1 tank that day. Additionally, 38 assault troops were killed and 3 more were wounded. A drone struck an enemy armored vehicle, killing several occupants, including the driver, and setting the vehicle on fire. The vehicle advanced a few meters before crashing at the side of the road, and the survivors fled into the nearby bushes. Ukrainian artillery then took control of the situation and fired on the remaining enemy hiding in the bushes. They used cluster munitions for this purpose, as they are designed to cover a wide area and increase the likelihood of striking dispersed enemy personnel. Soon, the vehicle was burning as Ukrainian forces continued artillery strikes against the enemy. A reconnaissance drone provided targeting information, allowing artillery to strike Russian positions. The bombing continued for a period, with artillery maintaining sustained fire on the area. Guided by reconnaissance updates, the strikes were adjusted to target remaining enemy positions and movement. The bombardment continued until no further activity was observed. The operation concluded with the area cleared of enemy forces. Taking advantage of the fog, the enemy launched a mechanized assault. One of the tanks attempted to conceal its movement behind a smoke screen, but without success. FPV drone operators responded in time and halted the advance. After the first 2 vehicles were destroyed, the remaining forces withdrew, abandoning their vehicles and leaving the battlefield. The drone operators took advantage of the situation and destroyed the abandoned vehicles completely. In the same area, a reconnaissance drone captured a moment in which 2 Russian soldiers attempted to take cover inside a destroyed armored vehicle. Neither of them appeared to be aware that anti-tank mines were present inside. Ukrainian drone operators deployed a kamikaze drone, triggering a large explosion. In February 2026, in the village of Torsk, Donetsk Oblast, a Mavic 3 drone operator detected the location and concentration of Russian assault troops in an abandoned building and transmitted the coordinates, prompting an airstrike on the target. After the target was identified, the fighter released the munition, resulting in a large explosion. The strike also triggered the stored mines, causing additional explosions. Again, a Ukrainian airstrike struck a Russian position in a building, but now in Shevchenko, in the Pokrovsk area. The same explosion is shown from another angle. In another airstrike, the target was an enemy command and observation post in Donetsk Oblast. The strike affected a wide area, completely destroying the Russian position. In this final footage, captured in March 2026, the Ukrainian Navy struck a Russian Ka-27 helicopter with a kamikaze drone as it attempted to land on an oil rig in the Black Sea. The operation was carried out successfully, and drone footage shows the helicopter engulfed in smoke and completely destroyed, while the oil rig remained undamaged. Thank you for watching Iron Pulse Media. Subscribe to our channel to see more footage from the world's most critical conflict zones. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time on Iron Pulse Media.